So, today we're diving into the future of military aviation. And let me tell you, it might look a whole lot different than you think. Our guide for this is an academic monograph called Futuristic Military Fighters by Dr. Mario Arturo Ruiz Estrada, and it lays out some ideas that could completely change the game. What we're going to do is pull out the key prototypes and the big strategic ideas from these pages. And what we're going to find is that the future isn't just about bigger, faster jets. It's about intelligent, autonomous systems, and some of them are, believe it or not, surprisingly small.
And that's a really powerful question, right? Because it just flips our whole idea of scale on its head. Before we can even talk about massive fighter jets, we've got to start with something much, much smaller. Okay, so the main idea from the book is this. We're seeing a massive shift in what warfare even looks like. It's moving away from just sheer mechanical might. Who has the biggest tanks or the most ships? Instead, it's all about lighter, smarter, and way more agile systems that are driven by data and AI.
And that brings us right to the smallest UAVs in the book, these palm-sized spies. Now, these are not the drones you buy at the store. These are designed for super specific, tactical missions where being small and sneaky is literally everything. So, take a look at these two. They show two completely different ways of thinking about micro-warfare. On the left, you've got the Black Hummingbird, which is all about pure stealth. And on the right, the Mini Kamikaze MAR-7. It's an absolute marvel of minimalist robotics built for sticking around. Let's dig into what makes each one so special. Everything about the Black Hummingbird is built for one single purpose: to be invisible. Its propellers are enclosed, which doesn't just make it quiet, it also shrinks its radar signature way down. This design means it can slip deep inside complex city environments, even go indoors, and, well, it basically becomes a ghost. And you can see just how small it is. That tiny footprint? That's the whole point. That's what lets it sneak into places that are totally off limits to any bigger drone, and get in and out without anyone ever knowing it was there. All right, now let's switch gears to the MAR-7. This thing is different. Its design looks brutally simple, but its secret weapon, its totally game-changing feature, is a magnetic attachment system. Why is that such a big deal? Well, it means the drone can fly to a spot, then just stick to any metal surface. This is huge because it can power down and just wait, saving all its energy for a surveillance mission that could last for hours, maybe even days. Think about that for a second. That one simple feature completely transforms it from just a drone into this kind of hybrid aerial surface robot. It flies into position, latches on, and becomes a persistent sensor. This just blows the doors wide open on what a single tiny drone can do strategically. Okay, so we've gone from the palm of your hand. Now let's scale way up to full-sized experimental fighters. The monograph gets into two incredible concepts: the Black Nightmare, MRN-37, and MRN-38. You look at this thing, the Black Nightmare, and you think, wow, that's a seriously cutting-edge stealth fighter. But its looks are actually pretty deceiving, because its real purpose isn't combat at all. Because here's the twist: these aren't weapons at all. They're flying laboratories. They are totally non-weaponized testbeds designed specifically for trying out new aerodynamics, new materials, and advanced pilot interfaces. They're built to close the gap between a wild idea on a research paper and something that can actually fly. But here's the thing. What really makes all of these platforms, the tiny ones and the big ones, so futuristic isn't just the metal and composites. It's the invisible stuff, the AI systems that act as their brains and nervous systems. First up is something called IMOS, the Internal Multi-Aileron System. The easiest way to think about this is as the drone's advanced nervous system. So instead of having big, visible flaps on the wings, it uses a whole network of tiny internal ailerons, all coordinated by an AI to keep it perfectly stable in the air. And here's how it works, and it happens in a split second. The system senses any turbulence. The AI instantly calculates the perfect fix, and those little internal ailerons adjust. The result? The aircraft stays incredibly stable, which is absolutely crucial for both staying hidden and for hitting a target with precision. So if IMOS is the nervous system for one drone, the Karasa system is like the giant strategic AI brain for an entire nation's intelligence. This isn't about flying a single aircraft. It's a massive framework designed to chew through huge data sets and help human commanders make sense of incredibly complex security threats. Now, this system uses a really cool new way to visualize data called economicology. Basically, instead of looking at a bunch of different charts, it layers dozens of variables into one single dynamic model. This lets analysts see hidden connections and predict complex problems in a way that just wasn't possible before. Okay, so we've got these tiny drones, we've got these huge experimental jets, and we've got this super advanced AI. But how does it all come together? What's the big idea? Well, the book ties it all together with a unifying theory called the Black Katana model. And the philosophy behind it is actually pretty simple, but it's totally revolutionary. It says that in the future, military power isn't about having the most soldiers or the biggest bombs. It's not about mass. It's about precision, stealth, and being able to adapt with smart AI. The model argues a smaller, smarter, tech-forward force will pretty much always beat a larger, more traditional one. And to actually measure this new kind of power, the book proposes something called the Army Power Index, or API. And what's really striking when you look at it is that technological superiority, AI, drones, cyber, is weighted the most heavily. It's considered more important than traditional military hardware. This whole index is designed to figure out a nation's true strength in this new age. So, just to show how this would work in the real world, the book runs a hypothetical simulation. And based on these new criteria, the US scores a 91.5 and China gets an 84.8. Both are ranked at a global supremacy level. It's a really fascinating way to rethink who holds power and why. And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway from the Black Katana model. Technology, precision, and intelligence are about to completely reshape how we think about military strength. It's not about quantity anymore. The future is all about quality. And all of this leaves us with one last really big question to chew on. As all this military tech becomes more and more autonomous, as the AI gets smarter, what happens to the role of human command? Where does the person fit in when the machine can do so much on its own? Definitely something to think about.